So you're thinking about moving to Duluth, Georgia. Well, I've got great news for you because every person that buys a home and moves to Duluth, Georgia, I'm buying them a free car. That's not true. I'm not buying you a free car, but it is a great town to move to, and we're going to talk about that. So I was talking to Mayor Nancy Harris not too long ago. She is the mayor of Duluth. She has been the mayor of the city of Duluth for a number of years now, and she was not only speaking about the growth and development of the city of Duluth, but even specifically and particularly about downtown Duluth. And something that she had mentioned that was really cool, we just had this state-of-the-art library. I know library may not seem too exciting, but this one is actually really exciting. It's very cool. But she was talking about building that and how downtown Duluth has a criteria of when they build new things in downtown, they still have to abide by certain restrictions and architectural looks because everything they build still has to go with the look of historic downtown Duluth. So even the new hotel that was recently built was built in a way that it still looked like it was a part of historic downtown Duluth. So a lot of cool things that Mayor Nancy Harris drives and makes sure comes to fruition. Also, something that is worth mentioning is I myself live in the city of Duluth. My wife and my boys, we moved here right about 8 years or so ago. Back then it was just one boy. We later had our second boy here while we were living in Duluth, but it is the hometown currently that we reside in. And for those of you who subscribe to my channel, you may remember that I did a video last year about Duluth, but this one is all updated. It is freaking fresh. All new info, so hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that, get some new insight on the city of Duluth. And in this video, as we talk about Duluth, we're going to be talking about some of the schools. We're going to talk about home prices, obviously real estate. We're going to talk about some of the things to do and a whole lot more. So y'all get ready as we talk about moving to the city of Duluth, Georgia. Hi, my name is Rip Pruitt with Century 21 Real Estate, lovingly known as Rip the Realtor. If you haven't seen my channel, this channel is all about moving and living in the suburbs in and around Atlanta and the northern suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. Love for you to subscribe, to follow my channel. Hopefully I've got all kinds of helpful information as you are thinking about moving to this great state of Georgia. So if you're thinking about moving, please reach out. Love to help you out, obviously, or if it's just simply answering some questions as you're exploring and trying to get to know the state of Georgia, specifically Atlanta and those northern suburbs, I would love to help you out. So reach out, call, let me know what I can do for you. So let me clarify first, because oftentimes if you just Google Duluth, you may be reading about Duluth, Georgia, or you may be reading about Duluth, Minnesota. This is not Minnesota. It's hot down here. It's not freezing. From what I understand, Minnesota is a lot colder than Georgia. I've never been. Probably won't go. No offense, Minnesota, but I like Georgia. I don't like the cold. But there's an interesting story of how those towns got their name because they're actually related. It's not just by chance that there's a Duluth, Minnesota and there's a Duluth, Georgia. There's an interesting story of how that came to be. Wait to the end. I'll let you know how that happened. So let's talk about just the population, because we've had lots of growth in Duluth, Georgia. A lot of people are realizing what a great city it is to move to. And so just comparatively, if you look at 2010, we had just over 26,000 folks. In fact, it was 26.6 thousand people that were living in Duluth, Georgia. Compared to more recently, 2022, it's grown up to almost 32.9 thousand people living in Duluth. So we've had almost 7,000 increase of people in the last 10 plus years. So it's a vibrant city, it's growing, it's doing well, it attracts lots of people. If you look at niche.com, great website for looking at different cities, but niche.com gives Duluth City A+. That's right, cream of the crop. That grade is based on the public schools, housing. It's also crime and safety ratings, the nightlife, the diversity. Is it good for families? And so niche.com takes all those criteria, puts it into one, gives it an overall rating. Again, A+. Can't get much better than that. Let's talk about the diversity. Gwinnett County is the county that Duluth sits in, and Gwinnett County is known for being super diverse. And specifically, the city of Duluth is also known for being diverse. There's tons of minority-owned businesses. In fact, you can find several Korean-owned businesses, Korean-speaking businesses. You can find several Spanish-speaking businesses. The list goes on, but very diverse city. All kinds of eclectic cultures that come together. It's a great vibe, great feeling driving around the city and just being able to experience even different cultures with shopping, foods, all kinds of great opportunities for that. All right, so let's talk about the Duluth police for a second. Supporter of police, but let me just give you a quick insight because safety also ranks high on niche.com, and Duluth police don't play around. I've heard by several folks that they were going over the speed limit or they've had a rolling stop or whatever. They've gotten ticketed. I've heard that there's several areas like on Buford Highway that can go from 45 to 35 real quick. Maybe it's a speed trap. I don't know. If I'm honest and it's just me and you right now, I would admit that I don't pay a whole lot of attention to speed limits, but I will tell you my most recent encounter with Duluth police. I was sitting at a super busy intersection, multiple lanes coming from all different ways, sitting at a red light. It's pretty trafficky. Been sitting there for a little while. I have my phone up on my little windshield phone holder, right? We use it for GPS. I was almost at my destination. I knew where I was. So I reached up to simply hit end on the GPS, hitting end, not texting, not emailing, just hitting end on the GPS. And I hear on my window and I look over and this Duluth police. I roll down my window. He said, "Sir, this is a hands-free city. You can't be on your phone." And I said, "Well, all I was doing was hitting end on navigation." Doesn't matter. You were on your phone. So the law says that it doesn't matter if you're stopped, you cannot touch your phone. He wrote me a ticket. It abruptly ended with having me sign real quick because he said he had to go. And I watched him walk 2 lanes over to another car and tap on their window. Same type of thing. So he was just working that intersection, given, it wasn't texting and driving. I'm not sure what that was, but I had to pay a ticket for ending navigation. So follow the law. Be careful when in Duluth because they don't play around. All right. Now, as we talk about schools in Duluth, it is worth mentioning that the Gwinnett County Public School System is huge. Gwinnett County is a huge county. The public system takes it very serious when it comes to school. In fact, the largest employer in Georgia is Gwinnett County Public School System. That's how big the system is. So the schools in Gwinnett County are fabulous. They're top notch. Specifically Duluth, we've got some top public schools that feed Duluth. There's several schools that are sought after. People will move into Duluth just so that they can be in that certain school district. My kids go to school in the Duluth, kind of borders on Swanee as well. Swanee is a city that borders Duluth, but my youngest kid goes to Burnett Elementary School. We love that school. My oldest child went up through there. I'm on the school council. Don't mean to make such a big deal of myself, but I'm on the school council for Burnett Elementary. My youngest son goes there. He's in first grade now. And my oldest son goes to Hull Middle School, which is right across the street from Peachtree Ridge High School. He loves it there. It's been a great experience. We love the school system in and around Duluth. Being such a huge school system with Duluth and Gwinnett County specifically, there's tons of extracurricular activities. Pretty much any sport you could think of, you can get involved. They have all kinds of assistance with special needs classes. Whatever's thrown at them, they pretty much have a plan for that. So that's the advantage of being such a large school system. The downside is our high schools are huge. The high schools can range anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 kids. So they're big high schools, but with large schools also comes advantages, bigger budgets, more opportunities, more programs. All right, let's talk about things to do in Duluth, Georgia. Now, One thing I have to mention when it comes to finding things to do in Duluth is downtown Duluth. I mentioned it earlier as I was talking about Mayor Nancy Harris, as I was name dropping. You might want to pick that name up. Downtown Duluth is great. They've really done a great job over the last several years of revitalizing it, of really bringing it to life. There's all kinds of festivals that happen down there. Just this past week, we had the big Duluth Fall Festival, tons of vendors, food, drinks. It's all held downtown Duluth. They have a huge fireworks show, 4th of July. During the summer, they have Friday night food trucks where tons of food trucks come in there. There's just always something going on with downtown Duluth, whether that's city planned or just finding some of the local restaurants, some of the things to do in downtown Duluth. There's a great music venue down there called the Red Clay Theater. It's owned by Eddie Owen, who used to have a successful music venue in downtown Decatur called Eddie's Attic. Now he has one in downtown Duluth. A lot of great local musicians come there to play, some that are even bigger than just local. So always a great time to catch a show down at the Red Clay Theater in downtown Duluth. Some great restaurants, great atmospheres downtown Duluth. You can find Dreamland Barbecue, which obviously has great barbecue. There's a unique place called Truck and Tap. They have all kinds of beers on tap. And for the food, they have an overhang at the end of the restaurant where a different food truck will pull up, and whatever food truck is there for that weekend, that's their menu. So really creative. There's some great sweet shops. There's Crave Pie, which makes obviously pies, but then they also make these small personal pies, so you don't have to feel so guilty about eating a whole pie to yourself. One of my favorites, Simply Done Donuts. If you're in there, tell the owners Joey and Carissa I sent you, but it is a great donut shop. It won best coffee for Gwinnett County. So what a better combination than donuts and coffee. It is also the location of not first annual, but second annual, that's right, 2 years running, of my own Rip the Realtor donut eating contest that is held downtown Duluth at Simply Done Donuts as well. There's several other restaurants that I could go on and on because unfortunately I love to eat. It may be one of my spiritual gifts is eating, but we'll talk about that in another video. So as I talk about the city of Duluth's parks, I brought in a residential expert. She's highly sought after, highly paid, my wife, Bonnie. So we're going to quickly talk about 3 parks that jump out at us. McDaniel's Farm Park. Tell us a little bit, what's your experience at McDaniel's Farm Park?
So McDaniel's Farm Park is wonderful, really wooded, it kind of has a rustic feel. So when you go there, you'll actually find a lot of families having portraits taken. We actually did some Christmas photos there one year and we were not the only ones. So it's just a great backdrop, really pretty, and goes on for a while. I actually took my son there one day and got lost, which isn't great when your kid is too tired to keep walking.
For like 23 days, we had to call in state troopers. It was probably national news. You might have saw it.
Not true, but it is a great park.
Yeah, and that one has a lake too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I feel like we just scratched the surface. It's got a lot of land around it. It's really pretty.
Just so you know, Gwinnett County parks in general are huge. Another great park, Shorty Howe Park. Our son played baseball there for a season.
Yeah, we lived in a townhome when we were in between homes at one point, and I used it a lot for training for one of the races I did. So it had a lot of great flat spots, a few hills, but a nice little course to run on as well.
And there's some good places to eat around that park that I used for training when she was training for the race. I did the eating training. But that one does have a lake, I know for sure, because it's got all the ducks that our kids like to throw food to. Yep, yeah. Ducks, geese. And then Button Road Park is another good one. That's located really close to downtown Duluth.
Yeah, really pretty park. I know they do soccer there. I haven't visited it much, but when I have, it's really nice.
Yeah, we actually, when we first moved to Duluth, looked at a neighborhood right next to Button Park that we considered buying a home there. And part of that reason was just being right next to that beautiful park and close to downtown Duluth. So there you have it, our resident expert on Duluth City Parks. Thank you, Bonnie. Your check is in the mail. Now, obviously, I can't talk about the city of Duluth without talking about real estate. So before I get into residential real estate, I want to talk about a larger development real estate. So here in Duluth, we have a mall called Gwinnett Place Mall. All right, now I want you to know this. I grew up in Georgia. I grew up just down the road in North Forsyth County in a town called Cumming, Georgia. When I was growing up, there were no malls around except for Gwinnett Place Mall. And and we loved it. We would drive 45 minutes to Gwinnett Place Mall because it had all the latest stores, all the latest trends. If you wanted to be cool, if you wanted to wear the top brands, the trendiest fashion, you went to Gwinnett Place Mall. It was a bustling mall. Now, through the years, there have been other malls around here that have been developed since then. You've got, back then, North Point Mall came not too long after it, which is in Alpharetta, not too far from Duluth. We then had Sugarloaf Mills that was built, which was this outlet type of mall, along with Mall of Georgia, which was in Beaufort, again, just right down the road. So all these newer development malls started overshadowing Gwinnett Place Mall. And it slowly started getting worse and worse. Interior shops, the smaller stores, started moving out. Some of the bigger box stores, the anchor stores, started moving out to the point where Gwinnett Place Mall really went downhill quick. Even, there's a story, you can look it up, they even found a dead body inside Gwinnett Place Mall in one of the abandoned food court stores. In fact, not only did they find a body in the food court, it had been there for almost 2 weeks before they found it. Gross. And if you're a fan of Stranger Things, there have been several scenes from Stranger Things that were filmed in the mall. Now, that may seem cool until you really think about the fact that they really didn't have to do anything to the set of the mall for it to be able to fit in Stranger Things, meaning it was creepy enough on its own, they could just shoot it. So Gwinnett Place Mall has really gone downhill. It's barely even open to this day. But the great news is, recently, Gwinnett County bought Gwinnett Place Mall. Now here's the beauty. They are taking that to completely redo it. It is a whole new, huge development. They're talking through all kinds of different things, live, work, play, businesses, housing, all kinds of things. And it's all for the purpose of stimulating growth and economic development. In fact, you can go to the website and check out reclaimgwinnettplacemall.com. And it's really a robust website. It has all types of things where you can leave comments, you can leave suggestions of what you would like to see done with this project. You can read all about it. It's an interactive website and super informative. It's going to be very exciting. My opinion, especially if you're thinking of investment properties, maybe a good time to start trying to buy some properties around Gwinnett Place Mall. Or even if you're just thinking of moving to Duluth, maybe a great time, because right now around Gwinnett Place Mall, prices are not at the top when it comes to the city of Duluth, because again, Gwinnett Place Mall is not that nice right now, but not too long from now, that place is going to be bustling and those property prices should be going up, up, up. So watch out for that area. Now, as we start to get into residential real estate, remember, you can go check out one of my past videos. That is the Duluth, Georgia real estate guide video if you want to get more in depth with that. But when it comes to single family detached homes, meaning these are homes that are not townhomes, they're not condos, they're not multifamily homes. They are single family home detached, meaning as a house that stands on its own. The average sales price for this past month was $546,000. It's a little bit steep. Now, again, that's average. So you can find homes that are well over that, but you can also find homes that are under that. So it's got a pretty eclectic range of home prices in Duluth. You can go country club living, where it's super nice, super expensive, gated entrance, or more of a first-time home buyer type of home. So pretty diverse when it comes to real estate. Great place to look and consider when you're moving. So if you're thinking about moving to Duluth, Georgia, reach out, give me a call. I'd love to answer any questions, help you out however I can. And please don't forget to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and hope you enjoyed this video of moving to Duluth, Georgia. All right, so as I promised, here is how Duluth, Georgia got its name. So as I said before, if you Google Duluth, it may come up Duluth, Minnesota. It may come up Duluth, Georgia, because technically Duluth, Minnesota is an older town. Duluth, Georgia used to be all Cherokee Indians. Duluth, Minnesota was named after this old explorer whose last name sounded very similar to Duluth. And so Minnesota got its name from that explorer. Now, Duluth, Georgia, there was a congressman and his name was Representative Proctor Knott. And he gave a speech before the House of Representatives that became very well known. It gained some national attention back then, but it was called The Glory of Duluth. And he just rolled out a plan of connecting a railroad system from Duluth, Georgia to Duluth, Minnesota. Obviously, it opened up all kinds of commerce, things like that. And so because of the connection of that railroad to Duluth, Minnesota, we then became Duluth, Georgia. You're welcome.